Recommended operations and maintenance. Basic daily operating tasks. Operator level. Recommended twice a day. Clean influent bar screens with broom into trash can as often as required. The transfer pump discharge valves are usually set at 30%. Please flush them at least once a day. This can be done by opening the valves 100% and switching the pumps to hand mode at the control panel. Observe for 2 minutes and make sure there is nothing clogging the pump. Open the scum valve for 5 minutes a day or until top of clarifier is clear so that the scum floating on the clarifier will be recycled back to the EQ tank. Close the RAS valve and open the WAS valve for 15 minutes as often as advised. The frequency of this operation may vary for each unit and will be advised by the visiting process engineer during the weekly site evaluation routine. Sludge has to be removed from the bottom of the Dynadisc tank each day. This can be done by opening the Dynadisc airlift valve 50% for 5 minutes. Weekly operational tasks. Process and operations team level. Recommended twice a week. 1. Observe the control room and record any abnormalities. A. Switch to alter the blower in operation. B. Check all LED lights. C. Check for any alarm signals. D. Open control panel and check for any tripped contactors. E. Check signals from all level switches. F. Check the alum and chlorine dosing pumps and their settings. G. Take a note of the levels in the alum and chlorine tank and raise a request if the level is low. 2. Observe the functionality and performance of the plant and record any abnormalities. Observe and record the following. A. Color and concentration of the influent wastewater. B. Presence of grease balls or any signs of high concentrations of FOGs, fats, oil, and grease. C. Setting of the EQ discharge valves. D. Color of the mixed liquor in the biology tanks. E. Biofilm growth on the biomedia. F. Adequate mixing in the biology tanks. G. Take a sample of mixed liquor with a volumetric flask from the aeration tank and do a 30-minute settling test. Observe size of flocks and settleability. H. Check the quality of sludge at the bottom of the clarifier and waste if necessary. I. Observe water going over the weir and note the amount and size of flocks managing to go over. J. Check for any floating scum and floatables in the Dynadisc and final effluent tank. K. Check for any leakages in the aeration system. L. Check for any leakages in the chemical dosing lines. Remove any floatables from all the tanks. Switch off the anoxic tank mixer and clean all strainers with a hard brush and remove any non-biodegradable material. 3. Take the following measurements with the appropriate instruments. A. Final effluent tank turbidity. B. Dynadisc tank turbidity. C. Clarifier turbidity. D. Final effluent tank total coliforms. E. Final effluent tank residual chlorine. F. Dynadisc tank sludge depth. G. Clarifier sludge depth. H. Anoxic tank MLSS. I. Anoxic tank pH. J. Aeration tank pH. K. Anoxic tank dissolved oxygen. L. Aeration tank dissolved oxygen. M. Oxygen uptake rate of sample biomedia. Based on all of the above observations, make the required adjustments in order to meet the effluent discharge standards set by the governing body. Monthly operational tasks. Process and operations team level, recommended once a month. 1. Take an influent and effluent sample to be tested at a lab for the following: BOD, TSS, turbidity, pH, fogs, fats, oil, and grease, ammonia as nitrogen, nitrates as nitrogen, total coliforms, chlorine residual. 2. Drain Dynadisc tank and visually observe the cloth media. Wash down the filter and tank with pressurized hose. If required, pull out the cloth media and replace with new one. 3. Drain the final effluent tank and wash it down with a pressurized hose. Monthly maintenance tasks. Plant maintenance team level. For pumps, monitor current consumption and voltage. Check the used relays for resistors, monitor sealing room, etc. For dosing pumps, check the pump diaphragm for damage. Check that the discharge and suction valves and the discharge lines are seated firmly. Check the overall tightness of the liquid end, in particular leakage opening between suction valve and drive housing. Check liquid end screws are tight. Tightening torque for liquid end screws, 4.5 to 5 Nm. Blowers. Check the cartridge for blockage and replace if necessary. Remove any surface deposits. Check for departures from the normal operating conditions, that is, a rise in the absorbed power, unusual operating noises, vibrations, etc., which are a sign of abnormal operation that can lead to failure. Mixers. Check lubrication of gear chamber. It should be filled to 25 millimeters from the top of the gear chamber. All O-rings should be thoroughly checked for integrity and replaced if they are cut, deformed, or deteriorated. Change the gear motor if necessary. Inspect the bearings carefully and replace if necessary. Refer Section 9.5 and Section 10 from the IOM manual. Dynadisc filter. Check the Dynadisc cloth media for damage and replace, if necessary. Check the vacuum arm holes for blockage. Check the gear motor and check for any abnormal sounds. Vacuum pump. Check for all connections in the suction piping, which should be leak-free. Check operation of the vacuum pump. Diffusers and aeration system. Check for uniform distribution of air. Check DO levels in aerated tanks. Maintenance and troubleshooting. 1. Maintenance. Please refer to the lubrication and maintenance tables in the IOM manual for maintenance procedures and frequency. 2. Troubleshooting. Please refer to the IOM manual for troubleshooting notes. It is highly recommended that you notify PARKSON of any incidents, even if you are able to solve it yourself. For issues that you are not able to solve, please contact PARKSON so we can have a service team visit you as soon as possible. PARKSON Contact.